Cindy and I have teamed up to bring you a touchdown for the Super Bowl.
Go team!
I'm all about mason jars these days.
That's right. Today she's going to show us how to make these adorable frosty beverage mugs.
You know, I have to say, Cindy, I was actually inspired by your Go Team when you sent me the picture. We live on the separate sides of the country, and I thought, oh, I'm totally changing my project up, and I came up with this, with the jar.
Well, I'm glad because they're cute.
Thank you. They're really a lot of fun.
So how do we do it?
So we get started with using Etch-All, but I use their Etch Mask first. It's this yellow, it comes in a big sheet, and I made a little football stitching. Thank you, because I'm what to call that. And I went ahead and peeled it back. And when you peel it back, I only peeled back part of it at a time, and then kind of peeled it off because this is super sticky.
And it'll stick to itself, and there's no
undoing it. So then you're going to press it on, get all your little bubbles out. Then we're going to go to the etching cream. Now, etching creams, this is really a lot of fun, the Etch-All, because you're going to put it on nice and thick. And I put it on nice and thick right over the top of my stitching.
Right over that etch mask.
And you know, I even masked off the handle. I did not want the handle etched, but I just, with my brush, I just went around and I went right up to the edge here too. So you can see that. Then once your 15 minutes, set your timer, ding, 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 ding. Then you're going to scrape it all back into the jar.
Because it's reusable. That's one of the really nice things about Etch-All.
Then a little bit of warm water, and then I just use my fingers and rinse it out in the sink. And this is what you get. Now you're going to pick this off. I'm not going to waste your time watching me peel it back. But once I peeled it off, look how this came out.
Ta-da!
Oh, ta-da is right. So great. It gave it a really great dimension. My next step is I'm going to show you how I added the football hide. Cindy's assisting me here with rolling out the clay.
Yeah, I'm using the Ultimate Clay Machine, and I've got it on a number 3 setting.
Okay.
It's non-stick, so the clay doesn't stick. There you go, you're ready to go.
Oh, beautiful. I used the Makin's texture sheet, and I noticed this one actually has a little football on it.
Front.
Oh, voila! Here is it looks like the rawhide on the football.
One side will emboss, the other will deboss,
Right,
so make sure you've got it in the right direction.
This is the bumpy side, and this side is more smooth. So I'm going to lay that right over my clay, and I'm going to take the clay roller, and I'm just going to roll this right on down, using a little bit of pressure.
You can use your fingers and kind of push if you need to, and one tip is to lift the edge a little bit there. You can tell your pattern's going, and if not, you give it a little more pressure, but that's beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Perfect. So now that came out, just sort of like that. And here's this beautiful texture. So it really looks like the football rawhide.
It does.
So the next thing that I did is I went ahead and I measured my mug. And I'll take this one. And it just depends on your mug size. This is a 3/4 of an inch. I literally cut strips of the clay. So here we go. So but it took 2 strips because mine wasn't as long as this when I did mine at home. So I went ahead and cut, and you see I did a little notch because I had to do a little notch because we've got the handle. So this piece is going to, we're going to use some Beacon's 3-in-1. So we're going to put that all over, and actually we'll just go ahead and do that. Use some 3-in-1. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Now when you are sealing it, you have to wait till it dry. Obviously this one's already dry. And you could kind of still even mold it, even though it's dry, a little bit around the edge.
It does stay flexible after it's dry.
See, look at that.
So when it's rolled thin like this, you can do things like this.
And then you're going to come back and you're going to add your next piece. Here again, the glue, and right around the edge, and you can cut and notch that to make it work. Let me just pull in. Oh, just let's show them how this looks right here.
Oh yeah, there's how it's around that handle.
Now, the next step to do, because we just can't finish with the rawhide on the bottom, is we need to have some around the edge. So I cut myself out about 1/2 inch strip. Same thing, 3-in-1.
Around the edge.
After it's been sealed, and I just put it right around the edge and just worked it in. So see how it's worked in here.
And I noticed you kind of put it down towards the rim so that you left that top edge a little clear for
the drinking, or you know, all these great paper straws.
Yeah.
And so yes, but I did. I nestled it right against the edge.
That bottom.
Exactly. And of course, we needed a little something. I always have to a little something.
It's so cute.
So I made a little football. And I just made myself a little football out of a piece of grocery bag. Cut myself out a football. But what I did is I cut 2 of them out because I wanted it to look like, you know, not smooth on the other side. I really wanted it to look like a football. So I went ahead, got that done. And when this was still moist, I went ahead and I pinched the edges, and it sticks together fine to itself once it's moist.
When it's wet, wet clay will stick to wet clay without an additional adhesive.
So then I went to a little bit of white Macon's clay and just made my little laces. And then, since it still was still moist, it's just stuck fine together. And I hole punched it.
Punched it, because again, it's flexible, you can go right through.
Little hole punch, of course, some fun string, and I just wrapped it around. And there's our jar.
It's perfect. It's beautiful.
For root beer. Pick out your team colors and make a Go Team banner.
And I think this is great for a front door to kind of get ready for the Super Bowl and celebrate your favorite team. To make this, I used Kunin's Classic Felt.
Okay.
And I am using red and blue. Go Patriots.
Go Niners. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't make it.
And for my backing sheet, I'm using red, and I cut the red. It's 4.5 inches across by 23.5 inches long, about.
Okay.
And then for the blue, the navy I'm using, it's 4, and it's about 23.25. And I went ahead and used my 3-in-1 to glue the 2 sheets of felt together with the blue just centered on the red like this. On the back, I folded it over, and I'm making a splice where I'm going to put a piece of red ribbon just to hang it from the door. So I'm kind of just glued it again and created a little hanging hook.
So basically, don't put away your wreath book. Leave it on the front door because you could replace it with your football.
There you go.
Banner.
There you go. So that was the base of our banner. And to make our footballs, and I Velcroed this one so I can show you while I'm working on it. It's glued down. The rest of them are glued down. But to make our footballs, Kunin had this felt, and I know it's alligator skin, it's their embossed felt, but it still kind of reminded me of leather. So I said this would make a great football. So I used a piece of...
Technically it is rawhide.
True. This is true. And I needed a football template, so I just printed off the computer a football that I pinned to my felt, and I went ahead and I cut out 3 of those from the embossed felt. And once I had it cut out, I did the same thing. I'm using gray so that you can see the difference, but I traced the same template onto the friendly felt. It's a little bit
stiff one again,
and it's going to keep our footballs from flopping. We don't want floppy footballs. And I backed that to the back of the brown ones. I cut these gray ones a little smaller just so you could see the difference, but the brown, it wouldn't matter. So there's our 2 layers, and they will stay up when they're hanging vertically with the friendly felt. To add our detailing on our football and our stitching, I could have used white felt, but I kind of liked the effect of the single coat of the white washed paint.
It makes it a little opaque.
It kind of looked like a used football, like it's had a little time on the field. So I just painted in the stripes and painted in my stitches with the whitewash Americana paint for each one. And then I went ahead and I evenly spaced them on the banner at the top and the bottom and the center, and I used my 3-in-1 to glue them on really well.
Okay, great.
So I wanted my lettering to have a little dimension. So I went ahead and I used my Macon's clay to do that. I opened a package of the white, and I'm going to hand roll it to probably about 1/4 inch.
Okay.
The clay that I'm not using, I keep in a Ziploc bag with either damp paper towel or a baby wipe, and that keeps it fresh until you're ready to use it again. or if it starts to dry, you can spritz it with a little water and it'll reconstitute.
It is air dry.
It's an air dry product. It's no bake, so it's going to start to dry. And to make our letters, I used just a regular plastic stencil, and I used one of the tools, and I traced it out, and I did want the indentation that the tool leaves.
Okay.
I traced out the whole letter, and then I went to the next letter, and I just squeezed them all in. You can roll more clay if you need to, and I spelled out Go Team. Now you could spell out your team's name and put it right down the center, whatever you'd like. And then you can cut them out while they're still wet, but I actually waited till the clay dried.
Yeah, this stuff cuts great when it's dry.
And I took the scissors and I went and I cut around each letter, but I still have the outline where I traced it out. And then I glued those on, so it gives us a little bit of dimension on our Go Team banner. So we're ready to hang that on the door and have our frosty beverages and celebrate our Super Bowl.
Go Team. We hope you've been enjoying our All-Star Designers Winter Series. Like us on Facebook, pin us on Pinterest, and follow us on Twitter.
And for full instructions and complete supply lists for all of the projects featured on the series, go to whencreativityKnocks.com and sign up for our newsletter, and you'll be eligible to win one of the prize packages full of products from all of our series sponsors.